Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. And with Prismatic Evolution is coming out in a few short weeks, I haven't really done any videos where I looked at Eeveelution Decklists yet. Well, in today's video, we're going to look at Eeveelution Decklists and just kind of see what people are building around the new Eeveelution EX cards. I know they're not like the most insane broken cards ever. I still wanted to look at some of these decks because we've mostly just looked at like Budu decks and other like newish cards like Regigigas being added to the mix, but we haven't really looked at the Eeveelutions yet. I know they aren't like super meta, but it'll be nice to look at them anyways, and we're going to do that in today's video. If y'all are new here to the second channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and yeah, going to enjoy the video, leave a like. I'll leave a link to a Pokebook down below. I'm also going to be using Justin Basil's site to read off the proxies if you don't know what any of the cards actually do. So we'll start things off here on a Pokebook. So we've got Flareon EX decks. Now Flareon is probably going to be like the main instigator for these Eeveelution decks. Got the attack Burning Charge. Does 130 damage for a Fire and a Colorless. You search check for up to 2 basic energy cards, attach them to one of your Pokemon. So this is probably going to be how you play some of these Eevee decks, is you're going to kind of play like an Eevee toolbox deck where you use the Flareon as a means to power up your other Eeveelution. So that's probably going to be how that works. Okay, so starting off here, we do have the first deck to look at, and we see that it is a Flareon deck with Jolteon. So it does have the Jolteon in the deck here as one of your main attackers, more or less just using Flareon as one of your big hitters. Flareon does have that other attack that does 280 damage, so even if you're not doing Burning Charge, you can also use Carnelian, right, which can do a ton of damage. But Jolteon is pretty solid too. It does have the attack Flash Spear, does 60, and then you discard the 2 basic energy cards from your bench Pokemon, does 90 for each energy discarded in this way, so you can do a bunch of damage with Jolteon EX. In fact, you do 240 for just 2 energy. Pretty good numbers. It's a nice, efficient attacker, and of course, you can easily load up its attack cost through the likes of the Flareon, which is the idea there. So looking at this list here, it does play the Jolteon, does have Budu in the deck. Budu's going to see playing a lot of different decks, so I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of Budu in today's video looking at these decks. We do see it does have the Victini in the deck. The Victini lets your fire Pokemon, evolution fire Pokemon, do 10 more damage. So I think the Flareon would then be doing 290 or 140. And 140 is a little bit more respectable because now you're knocking out stuff like Regidrago and Lugia in 2 hits, which is cool. The other thing to note, there is the Eevee in the deck here. I don't know if the okay, it's proxy. Okay, cool. The Eevee's here. So yeah, this Eevee is definitely really good with the Rainbow DNA ability. Once your turn, if you have Pokemon EX in your hand that evolves from Eevee, you may put it onto that card, onto this Pokemon to evolve it. So you can basically turn this Eevee into like a basic Eevee because you can't evolve Flareon EX into an Eevee EX when you use Rainbow DNA. You can. The benefit of this is Eevee being a colorless Pokemon means you can abuse the power of the Glass Trumpet, which we can see is in the deck here. Use Glass Trumpet to put energy on your Eevee to then evolve into Flareon. So you can use Trumpet to put the energy on to do that. And the energy cost, you got the 4 fire, 3 light, or 3 water, 3 lightning energy in the deck. As really all you need is those energies to power up your attackers. Greninja's in the deck too, and I mean maybe you can use Greninja as an attacker. You can Flareon to the Greninja. It's an option. Could be pretty good too. So this is like mini Flareon toolbox style deck, mostly just using Flareon and then a bit of Jolteon action in there. Having the Greninja in there is cool. And the Victini's nice to fix some of the math. And of course, Sparkling Crystal is really good too to do more damage. Got another Flareon deck here. This one uses Noctowl as a means to charge up Flareon. So this one just mostly tries to attack with the Flareon EX. It does have that Noctowl, right? You play the Noctowl down, you get 2 trainers out of your deck when you have a Terra Pokemon to play. You'll have Eevee, or you'll have Flareon EX in play. One of those 2 EXs will count as a Terra Pokemon, and you can use it to find the Glass Trumpet combos to power up your Flareon. So you're just basically trying to be aggressive with Flareon and do 280 damage, or you can try to build up multiple Flareons in the background with your first attack, but with the addition of Noctowl, you can more aggressively use those Glass Trumpets, which makes sense. All right, this one is another Flareon deck using Noctowl. Does have Fan Rotom and Jolteon. Fan Rotom does make sense. You can use Fan Rotom to find Eevee. So when you want to set up your board, you can use the Rotom to get your Hoot, your Noctowl, and also gets you the Eevee out of the deck. The one prize Eevee, not the Eevee EX, obviously. And then we also see 2 Jolteon EX. So Jolteon EX also go with Glass Trumpet, because what you can do is you can trumpet the 2 energy into play for Jolteon's attack to then do the 240 damage. So both Jolteon and Flareon both have pretty efficient attacks with Glass Trumpet. So whether you're playing the Flareon by itself or you want to combine it with Jolteon, the Jolteon is nice. It is a Lightning type Pokemon. Being a Lightning type is going to be pretty relevant versus Lugia and Palkia, right? So there is that. You do have relevant typing. You can have weakness against Pidgeot too, I guess. But you can one-shot Pidgeot with Flareon, but you get my point. The good typing is going to be relevant in certain matchups for sure. This one does play Sylveon in the deck here. It does a Glaceon. I'm not sure what that Glaceon does. I think it like blocks evolutions or something from attacking it, something like that. It's not nothing too crazy. It's like it's a reprint from Glaceon, I think from like Obsidian Flames or Paldea Evolved or something. But we do see the deck does have the Sylveon EX in the deck for a little bit of disruption. Now I just did a video on Sylveon over on the main channel. Played Sylveon with Lost Box because I really do think Sylveon's Angel Light attack is really, really good. Is trying to come up with a good way to power it up, and maybe the way to power it up is through Flareon. Yeah, you can use Flareon's first attack to put energy onto your Sylveon, charge up the Sylveon, then you can Angel Light your opponent with like a Gust, right? You go Gust, counter catch your boss, Angel Light their bench. Really good attack. Angel Light is really good against Pokemon that are really well set up. You can reset a lot of energy, like against Regidrago. Really useful against Charizard, especially because you can put the Pidgeot and the Charizard back. It's effectively the same thing as like a mini TM Devo, which is kind of cool. So the Sylveon does have benefits alongside Flareon. And Sylveon, I think, is waiting for a good partner to actually be a good deck. I think the Lost Zone build was like fairly decent, but it wasn't anything like too special or crazy. But this build is Flareon version. It might be pretty good too. Might be pretty good because Sylveon can help offset some of the weaknesses maybe Flareon faces. I mean, Flareon does a lot of damage. Low-key, though, Charizard might be a tough matchup still because Charizard is Charizard at the end of the day. And here we go. We got an Eevee toolbox deck. This one plays all the different Eeveelutions. This is the one I'm excited to try out for a YouTube video. I don't think I'm going to do a video on this deck right away. Probably. We'll see. Maybe. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I am definitely going to do a video where I play all 8 Eeveelutions in one deck. I've done videos like this before with like the EV VMAXs, so I got to continue the trend here when this set releases. But yeah, it plays all the Eeveelutions. This is going to be like the main value you're going to get out of your Flareon is it can power up all the different Eeveelutions if you really want to build a toolbox deck. Then you have a lot more options in your deck. So I guess we can look at all of them real quick here. We haven't looked at. Leafeon is pretty solid. I might actually see a Leafeon deck later on in the video. It's got that fresh Leaf Storm attack to 60 damage for each energy on all of your opponent's Pokemon. It can be pretty good if you're playing against a deck like Regidrago or Miraidon, where they tend to fly the energy with for the board with energies. Then we have Mossagate, which is 230, and then you heal 100 from each of your bench Pokemon, so not a bad card either. The healing is nice. There's Vaporeon with the attack. Heavy Squall does 60 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX. The attack's okay. One of the main issues it faces is that it doesn't hit other Terra Pokemon, so it's not going to be hitting Teal Masks or anything, which is a little annoying. But you're hitting like Squawk, Fez, Mew, Lumineon, Rotom. Actually, no, you hit Rotom. You only X's, but you get my point. It's like kind of mediocre because of the Terra effect. Glaceon is a little bit better. It does have 2 attacks. We got Frost Bullet. It does 110 damage, and this attack also does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And then you have its other attack that knocks out one of your opponent's Pokemon if they have exactly 6 damage on them. So you do need to somehow put 6 damage counters on a Pokemon, but there are ways you can do that. You can literally just use Vaporeon Spread Attack to put damage on, or you can use Frost Bullet twice, hit something twice for 60. So Glaceon could be a decent way to deal with something because it just insta-KOs it. Espeon does have Psych Out, does 160, discard a random card from your opponent's hand, and then you have that Amethyst attack. You de-evolve each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by shuffling the highest stage evolution into your opponent's deck. So it's like a stronger version of TM Devo. It's kind of weird, though. This attack is, honestly, the way I look at it, it's kind of like a worse Angelite in a way. But you do de-evolve, so technically you can take prizes by removing the Charizard and Pidgeot if you've damaged them with spread attacks. But ironically, I think Angelite is better. But either way, it does have that Devo attack. Then we got Umbreon EX, does have Moon Mirage, does 160, and then Confuses, and then Onyx, discard all energy from his Pokemon, then you take a prize card. It's going to be a good way to close out a game if you can power up the Umbreon. So that's basically what the Flareon toolbox deck does here, as you can see. Plays all the different Eeveelutions. So I feel like, you can kind of adapt how you want. You can go Jolteon or Flareon. Early on, Jolteon takes those one-shots. Flareon gets the energy on the board. If you're playing against Charizard, you do have this Espeon in the deck. You can use Espeon. You could technically use the Vaporeon, hit the active Charizard for 60, and then put 60 damage on other things, I guess. You got Sylveon still in the deck, the Glaceon in there for a cool attacker, and then the Umbreon could be a good way to close the game out with Onyx. The best way to build up Umbreon would probably be through Glass Trumpet and Flareon anyways. It is a bit of an awkward attack cost, so Umbreon's attack can be good. You just have to find a way to build it up. Probably the Trumpet Eevee combo with Flareon is probably going to be the way to go. Definitely excited to try out this Eevee box deck. It's going to be pretty fun. We got another Eevee deck here using a different Eeveelution. This time we see the Leafeon being paired with the Flareon. So, like I said, Leafeon isn't a bad attacker. And actually, the cool thing about this deck is how it uses Slowbro. So, if you don't know what the Slowbro does, there's a Slowbro from Scarlet Violet base set that every time Pokemon in the active takes damage, whatever, you can move damage counters from your active to the Slowbro. It has 100 HP, so you put technically 9 damage counters off of it. Well, technically, if you have a bunch of Slowbro in play and they don't one-shot your Leafeon, you can move all the damage to the Slowbro and then use Leafeon's Terra attack and then heal all the damage you moved with the Slowbro. It kind of gives you like a bit of a heal loop effect where like if the Leafeon literally cannot be KO'd, you can always heal it with Slowbro, which is really cool. If you can abuse that second Terra attack, right? That's kind of the idea. Definitely a really cool idea. This is one that I'm definitely excited to try out. It does still play one Flareon, but again, it's more or less Leafeon. Leafeon's a decent attacker. Like I said, that first attack can be pretty good too, as a way to do a bunch of damage. Punish your opponent for putting a lot of energy in play can be decent. Then, of course, the Slowbro in the deck. Just have Bibarel in there for a little bit of draw. Playing Heroescape as the A-Spec, just because you can put that on Slowbro to sponge even more damage, which is kind of cool. So the Heroescape makes sense, right? You can put that on the Slowbro. You can move even more damage off and put it on Slowbro because it'll have more HP, which is kind of neat. So it's an interesting idea. Slowbro, Leafeon, definitely one that I'm excited to try out. Another build here using Leafeon. No Slowbro in this one. This one just looks to be more of like an attacking deck. Just play Briar in there. We see Radiant Charizard as a Radiant. Got Tomb in there. A little bit of anti-meta stuff. It does actually got top 16, it looks like, at a tournament, at a City League or whatever, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Leafeon, Flareon, decent. Because Leafeon is not a bad attacker. Even if we're not going to use its second attack, the first attack can be good. Because, again, there are decks out there that will flood the board with energy cards. Another Flareon, Jolteon deck. This one plays Maximum Belt, so you really try to capitalize on that high damage output of either the Jolteon or the Flareon to take knockouts. Still plays the Trumpet and stuff. Another build here using Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Leafeon. So it does still have the Leafeon in there for the bit of extra attack coverage. Got the Vaporeon if you want to have a spread attack, and then you have the Jolteon, Flareon in the deck as your two other big attackers. It does play the Victini and the Budew too, and a Woman Bibarel. So I kind of like this build. That's what I like about the Eeveelutions. You can kind of just mishmash them how you want. Just kind of neat. We got another Eevee toolbox deck here, much like the other one we saw. It does have one Jolteon in it, the one pricer. I forget what it does. I don't think it does anything too crazy though. Again, I think most of the one price Eeveelution reprints in the set, yeah, they're reprints, right? So they're not like anything too crazy. Another Flareon, Jolteon deck here. Probably the most common way to play the Eevees is just going to be the Jolteon, Flareon duo. We got another Slowbro, Leafeon deck here. That's kind of cool. Once again, using the Slowbro. Doesn't play the Heroescape, though. Uses Precious Trolley as you expect to set up your board, which makes sense. Get all the stuff out, get the Slowpokes out. Slowpoke can't be Buddy Poffined, which is kind of an issue. We got another build here using the Jolteon. Does have a couple Sylveon, so has two different options with the Sylveon for disruption, and then does have the Jolteon for the attack power, which makes sense. So kind of like it. Does still have a couple Noctowls in the deck to support your engine. You see a pure Flareon deck here using Dusknoir. I mean, it makes sense. Dusknoir can make the card do more damage. Doing more damage is pretty good, so I mean, it makes sense. Dusknoir's still here. Don't know how good Dusknoir will be in the Budew format, but maybe it'll be good in the Budew format. Who knows? We got another build here using Jolteon. No other EVs, just the Jolteon and the Flareon. It does play the Regigigas in there. You have the double glass trumpet, though, which makes sense. And you can build up Gigas with Flareon if you really wanted to, which is kind of funny. So, yeah, it does play Basin, too, actually. Basin can power up Flareon, which, keep in mind, that is a way to build it up, which does make sense. That was the last deck here of the Flareon decks, so that's pretty cool. We did see a decent bit of the Eeveelutions. Obviously, like the weakest ones, the Espeon, the Umbreon, only popped up in the Eevee Toolbox decks, but Flareon definitely looks good. I think Jolteon, Flareon, and Leafeon are going to be the three main Eeveelutions from the new set that catch the most amount of play. But not done yet. We got other decks here to look at from Terrestrial Festival for Prismatic Evolutions, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see more Eeveelution decks in here, I think. And we can also look at any other like cool stuff people are building from the new set in Japan. All right. First thing you see is a Palkia Kyurem deck. Was not expecting that. It does play a new item card, though, which could be good with Kyurem. I guess it wasn't saved here in the proxies, was it? No. Okay. Well, anyways, there's this new item card coming out that allows you to rearrange the top card of your deck, I think. And I think that'll be good with Kyurem's ability. I think that's like the concept of the deck. We got a Rotom V-Star deck. It's always one of these. Rotom V-Star with the new A-Spec card. I guess makes sense. You know, Rotom does get a bit of a buff with Treasure Gadget. So check for 5 tool cards, reveal them, and put them in your hand. It's a great way to get tools into your hand for Rotom. Is it better than Brilliant Blender, though, which also could be good with Rotom? I'm not too sure, but I mean, sometimes maybe you want to attach a tool. So maybe it is technically better. So there you go. Rotom gets a bit of a buff. A Fortress Arbok Arc deck. That's definitely an interesting deck. I have no idea how it works, so. All right, here we go. Another Eeveelution deck here to look at. This time it's a Umbreon deck using Blissey. So I think Umbreon is cool. We just have to find a way to build it up. So this build tries to use its Onyx attack as much as possible. The best way to do that is through like Glass Trumpet and Blissey, right? You can trumpet the energy into play. and then move it with Blissey's ability onto the Umbreon to then do its Onyx attack over and over again. So you do have a bit of synergy there between the Blissey and the Glass Trumpet, which makes sense. So I do think that this idea has potential for sure. I would maybe like to see a Power Hourglass in the deck, or Power Glass, whatever it's called, because you discard the energy on Umbreon, you can literally turn one Glass Trumpet into another attack if the Power Glass is on. So I feel like if you're going to play the Umbreon Blissey, I think you probably want to play Power Glass. Yeah, it's cool. Definitely a decent way to do it. You have Monkey Dory, which I guess is a nice bit of healing in the deck. Dragapult will be popular for sure. All right, we got another Flareon deck. This actually is the same one we just looked at the start of the video, so we'll skip over that. This one might have been similar to Flareon and Noctowl. I already saw this one. We got an Archaludon Caparaja deck. That's cool. I mean, that could be something you could play right now. Future video idea. Ooh, no leaks. All right. We saw this one already, I think. Yeah, this Jolteon Flareon deck. I think we've already seen this one. Yeah, we did. Seen some of the ones we already saw, which is kind of sad. But here we go. We got a Wugtrio deck here. Wugtrio is a video I am working on. Don't worry. I've gotten a few comments recently asking me to revisit Wugtrio over the past couple videos. So yes, don't worry. A Wugtrio video is happening. It is coming very soon. I know it gained counter gain, which is huge, because now you can use DT and reversal energy with Wugtrio to build it up. All right. The Eevee box deck. We already looked at this. I'm surprised the repeat's already there. All right, I got Rotom, a Treasure Gadget. I mean, again, it's not a big set, but there are enough new cards to make some like older decks like Rotom V-Star randomly playable. Well, I guess it's not really an unplayable deck. You get my point, right? Like randomly, like the Rotom V-Star deck becomes decent when it gains a new card like the Treasure Gadget, right? Because then you can Treasure Gadget for your stuff. So it's just funny how like these little cards make these type of decks better. We got a Scolipede deck here. It's kind of funny. I don't think there's anything new in this deck. Not really. I've already done a video on Scolipede. It's a fun little Bad Deck Friday card. We see a Clodsire deck here. Now, I don't think the Clodsire is very good. There is a new Clodsire EX coming out in the new set. It's coming out in Prismatic Evolutions. It's from that, like, Japan starter deck stuff. I don't think the Clodsire is very good. But, you know, who knows? Maybe it'll work with Monkey Door and Alexam. There you go. Bad Deck Friday video right here. You're looking at it, folks. All right. We've seen this one already. I'm surprised we're seeing repeats of the Flareon deck in here. I was hoping it, like, we've seen one different Eevee deck, and that was the Umbreon deck. This is another repeat deck we've already seen. Huh. And we've seen this one, too. Okay, here's an interesting one. We got a Kangaskhan Terapagos deck with a 1/1 Slowbro. Huh. I mean, this is a cool idea. I've tried to make Kangaskhan work with Bouffalant, because Kangaskhan can work with Bouffalant because there's ability. Try to make it work. It's very, like, it's more of Bad Deck Friday, in all honesty, because Kangaskhan has a very coin-flippy attack, but it could be a fun video to try out regardless. It's interesting. Just using Terapagos and Kangaskhan as your big attackers. You have the Boufflant in there for the bit of protection, and then you use Slowbro to try to heal, because you're tanking with Kangaskhan. It's interesting. Okay, here we go. This one is a bit different. There we go. We finally got a different Eeveelution deck that we already hadn't seen yet. This one is using Espeon EX in the deck. Now, this is a main Espeon deck. We do see some stuff in here. We see a Budu, Double Monkey Dory, Terapagos even in the deck. It also plays the new Sylveon, so I guess we should highlight that. I think it is under proxies. Yeah, the new Sylveon is kind of annoying. It has a similar ability to Mimikyu, where it's immune to EXs. Now, technically, this card is going to come out in Prismatic. Vs will still exist, but I think eventually when rotation happens, the Sylveon will actually get better, because then literally there's no Vs in the format. So it'll just be immune to EXs. Same thing as like Mimikyu. It'll basically just be a stage 1 version of Mimikyu at that point that does more damage and it has more health, which is a bit more relevant. But yeah, trying to use the Espeon EX here, trying to de-evolve. It does have a bit of spread in the deck. When you're playing against evolutions, I mean, to be fair, Gardevoir, Dragapult, and even Charizard could be popular in this new Prismatic format, because Budu makes them a little bit better, because it maybe scares off Drago a little bit, which is relevant for the Espeon. So maybe the Espeon devolution spread combo could be pretty good. Espeon can attack. Again, it does have an interesting attack here, where you can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. So I guess like a part of the idea is you can see this deck does run Unfair Stamp. You can like Unfair Stamp your opponent to a small hand, and then use Espeon EX's first attack to discard a random card, and then leave them with one card going into their turn, which could be kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Espeon could be decent. Again, the spread version kind of that this is trying to do with the Monkey Dory and stuff could be good against Charizard, because you can de-evolve him. You have the Sylveon in the deck, which can be pretty annoying too. And just ultimately, you just have to find a way to build up the Espeon. Does play a couple Glass Trumpet, a couple Crispins to get there, and we'll have to see if this kind of deck works. But I like to see these other Eeveelutions working. So, yeah, we'll see on that one. All right, we see another Eevee box. I think we've already looked at this deck too. Yeah, we have. Another Rotom V-Star deck. Jeez. Japan loves their Rotom V-Star. I mean, hey, gains Treasure Gadget. Could work with Brilliant Blender right now, though, like I said. Torterra is kind of cool. Torterra gains Budu. That's actually not terrible. Torterra EX, like, I don't think it's, like, amazing or anything, but it's not a bad card now that it has Area 0. I mean, Precious Trolley could be good to get all your grass Pokemon out. Max Bell might still be better overall to, like, one-shot Dragapulse and stuff, but the deck does have a decent amount of support behind it. The new Lilligant technically is there. I don't think Lilligant's coming out in this set, though. I'm pretty sure Blaziken and Lilligant are actually delayed. They're not releasing in Prismatic Evolution from what I've heard. I know Blaziken is not coming out. I don't know about Lilligant. Apparently it is, but yeah, I know Blaziken isn't. If Lilligant doesn't come out, that's going to suck for Torterra, because it's actually a decent card for Torterra. I mean, Torterra is cool. You get Budu. You can slow down your opponent with Budu while you slowly build up your board here with your Beautifly and your Torterra. I actually don't hate that as a concept. That could make Torterra even better. Who knows? Torterra is not bad right now with Area 0 and Trolley maybe, but maybe it gets even better with Budu, because you can kind of build your board up. Because Torterra is still a bit of a slow deck, because you are utilizing the Grottle. If you can item lock your opponent for a couple turns, buy time to build your board up, you could get somewhere. Sucks that Lilligant might not be coming out in Prismatic right away, though. All right. Okay, whoa. A Superior Iron Hands Pikachu Galvantula. This is an interesting deck. I guess it's more of like a Joltik toolbox deck, the way I'm looking at it. Use Joltik's attack to put energy on play on your Superior. So you get a Grass Attacker. You can build up Iron Hands. You can build up Pikachu. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Definitely a wacky deck for sure. I just did a video on a Joltik Pikachu deck, so you want to see some gameplay of that, definitely check that video out on the main channel, too. An interesting idea. I mean, I guess the idea is you Joltik to, like, Superior, and then you can, like, Superior move the energy around on, like, Iron Hands and stuff in Pikachu. I guess there is some synergy there. Superior Pikachu seems like a cool concept, actually, in general. Yo, Arc Superior Pikachu? Yo, I'm cooking now, bro. Can't wait to try that out. All right, we got an Almastar deck. More of a meme. Got top 16, apparently. Almastar is literally a worse Lugia. But Archeops is cool. It does play Heavy Cinccino. No Gigas, actually. Huh. I mean, it's kind of... I mean, it is interesting. I don't think it's actually, like, a good deck, but it's kind of funny. I mean, maybe Almastar is good. I mean, if you're getting Budude, why not just go Jet Almastar to get our Archons out? You don't have to worry about Ultra Ball and Archeops away if you're getting Budu spammed. We got a Rotom deck once again. A lot of Rotom, apparently. It's a lot of Rotom we're seeing. Got another Eevee Toolbox deck. Again, we've already looked at this list. We got a Crobat Dusknoir deck here. I did a video on this type of deck already on the main channel, too. But it does gain Budu, which could be good to slow down your opponent a little bit, so you can set up some crazy plays with Crobat and Dusknoir. It's got Xerosix Mechanicians in there, which is interesting. It's playing Grand Tree as the ace spec. Yeah, it's a cool deck. Yeah, I did a video on this deck already, like this type of deck, but Budu could make the deck a bit better. I mean, the idea of Budu Dusknoir is already really good, right? All right, we got another deck here. I think we've already looked at this one, too. We might not have, but it's another Flareon Jolteon deck. Using Radiant Charizard in there. Area 0 Basin, Briar. A couple Noctowls in there. I think we've already seen this deck. I could be wrong, though. This one, too. I don't think we've seen this one yet, have we? No, we have. Yes, we've seen this one. We've seen this Flareon deck with the Trolley and the Slowbro. A lot of repeats. All right, here we go. Another new Eevee deck we haven't seen yet. This one's using Jolteon EX as your only Eeveelution attacker. No Flareon, no, like, other attackers, just the Jolteon. And it does have some Iron Thorns in the deck. So I guess it's kind of similar in concept to, like, the Iron Thorns Dragapult deck, where you can use Iron Thorns to slow down your opponent a little bit, which will still be relevant in this format, even with Budu. Obviously, Lugia might get more popular, right? You slow down your opponent with Iron Thorns. You can kind of attack with the Thorns for a bit and move energy on your bench, and then you can kind of load up energy for your Jolteons to then come in and do some big damage. I guess that's like kind of the concept of this Jolteon Iron Thorns combo deck. Yeah, it makes sense. You still have Glass Trumpet in there to build up your Jolteon. Maybe this deck needs to play like a Crispin or something to like make it easier to build up Iron Thorns. But I like the idea of Iron Thorns with Jolteon, right? You can kind of slow down your opponent with the Thorns for a bit, move some energy around onto your bench, and then, you know, eventually, like, you'll have a bunch of energy on your bench where Jolteon can then discard some of that energy to do that big 240 damage attack. So I guess there is some bit of synergy there between these two. So it's not a bad idea for sure. All right, another Eevee deck without Flareon. This one is a Vaporeon and Glaceon combo spread deck here, using them with Frostlass and Monkey Dory. This definitely makes a lot of sense, right? Both Glaceon and Vaporeon have spread attacks. And take advantage of the spread attacks via Frostlass makes sense. The deck already plays Dark Energy for the Glaceon, so you might as well play the Monkey Dories in there. It's more of a Glaceon deck. It does have one Vaporeon, but yeah, still just plays Glaceon. Vaporeon can be really good at the end of the game to take knockouts. Once you pile a bunch of damage with Frostlass and Monkey Dory and stuff, Vaporeon could be a pretty annoying attacker, putting 60 damage on Pokemon. This might probably be the best way, actually, to play both Vaporeon and Glaceon, to be honest with you. So you probably have to play them together within this Frostlass style spread deck. But this makes sense, for sure. Frostlass still exists as a fun card to play, and I think the idea of pairing it with Glaceon And Vaporeon makes sense. Also, they don't have abilities. You're not playing the Eevee EX in the deck, so you're just using the one prize Eevee here with 70 HP, so you don't have to worry about it getting like KO'd by Dragapult. And it's got a couple Budew. Budew Frostlass also looks like it's going to be something that could exist. Budew already makes Frostlass a whole lot better, so when you combine more spread attackers that do more damage with the Vaporeon and Glaceon, get yourself a decent little deck here. Definitely excited to try that one out. I've already seen this one, I think, yeah. Got a Heatran Metang deck. To be fair, Metang does gain Regigigas as a new attacker, which isn't a terrible idea. Gigas is a very powerful card, and Metang can build it up very easily. So I do think that this like Metang deck could get better with the addition of Regigigas. I like it. It's not a bad idea at all. Definitely want to try that out. All right. We got another Eevee deck without using Flareon. We see an Espeon deck once again with a couple Noivern in the deck and Frostlass and Monkey Dory. I mean, again, you're playing a bit of a spread approach here using the Frostlass Monkey spread alongside using Espeon's Devolution attack. It's got a couple Crispin in there. You still have the Unfair Stamp. You can attack with Espeon. I'm sure it could be annoying to have to deal with these spread cards while you have a small hand with Espeon's main attack, or we're also trying to get around Noivern's covert flight attack, which could be pretty funny. So not a bad like anti-meta like mini spread combo deck. The Espeon definitely has potential there with the Frostlass Monkey Dory. Yeah, could be good, right? Espeon could be decent with spread cards. I mean, it's probably the best way to play it if you want to take advantage of that Devo attack against Dragapult and Charizard and stuff. All right, another Flareon. I think we've seen this one. Yeah, we saw the Flareon Dusknoir deck already, I'm pretty sure. We saw this one too. All right, we got an Arc pile here. Whoa, Arc, Medicham, Cloth, Brubonnet. That's kind of crazy. Okay, wow. Definitely a wild deck right there. All right, we got another Glaceon deck here, it looks like. Glaceon with Iron Valiant for a little bit of spread, so I don't mind that. You can use Iron Valiant's ability to get some damage on the board, spread some damage around for Glaceon's main attack, Frost Bullet to soften stuff up. Yeah, makes sense. I like it. Iron Valiant also could combine with Glaceon's other attack. I guess I forgot to mention that, actually. I was talking about Glaceon and Frostlass. Yeah, the damage from Frostlass and Monkey Dory, you can actually abuse to then use Glaceon's Terra attack to knock something out. I completely forgot about the Terra attack for a sec. You use the Terra attack also within this deck. That's not a bad idea, right? You can use Iron Valiant to pick some damage. Just play Iron... the Hydreigon card. Name's escaping my mind. Iron Jugulus, that's what it is. Which is an interesting attacker, or interesting card with an ability, I guess, what you use it for. Huh, interesting. Yeah, Glaceon Iron Valiant seems cool, too. Yeah, just you want to play with, like, a spread card, right? Like, Frostlass or Iron Valiant makes sense. And then finally, last deck here is just a Budew Dusknoir deck, just kind of boring stuff. We've probably already looked at that already on, like, previous videos. But yeah, there you go. Those are some new Eeveelution deck lists. Definitely excited to look at these decks when they come out. I'm probably going to, obviously, do my Prismatic Evolutions 12 new decks. Or, well, I don't think we'll be able to do 12 new decks. We're probably more closer to, like, 8 or 9 new decks from Prismatic Evolution. So that video will still release on the day leading into the release of Prismatic. So definitely excited to record that video. And probably by then we'll see more Eevee decks pop up that I haven't looked at yet that we can include in that video. But yeah, really cool stuff. It's nice to see some creativity with some of these Eeveelutions. They're not the most amazing cards ever. They're still fun to play. You know, the Espeon spread idea. The Glaceon, Vaporeon, Frostlass decks looks really fun to play. The Iron Valiant one looks pretty fun. Definitely some cool concepts here, like Jolteon and Iron Thorns. The Flareon style decks with Jolteon or Flareon, Eevee Toolbox, playing all the Eeveelutions in one deck. Definitely looks pretty fun. I'm definitely excited for some Prismatic Evolutions release. Hopefully it buys us enough time. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but like, gives us enough time to enjoy the game a little bit until rotation, which is like literally at like the end of March on live. So we have a bit of a ways to go. So I'm hopefully that like we see enough decent stuff out of Prismatic Evolutions where hopefully it lasts us a little bit until the rotation happens in March. But it is nice to see that at least some of the Eeveelutions were able to work, and there are enough decent combos with all the Eeveelutions for content, which is pretty fun. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video here on the Eevees. Let me know what your favorite Eevee deck was. What one are you excited to try? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, I'll leave a link to both Pokegobook, the site I used to look at the decks, and then Justin Basil's website where I used to look at the proxies to read all the Eeveelution cards. Link it all down below. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe down below. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're getting close, so if you want to help me reach that goal, make sure to subscribe down below. I'll catch you on the video here very soon on the second channel, and bye-bye.